welcome back to School Bus. We're here this weekend to give you a little bit of an update on where we're at with the back cap and the front cap. So a few weekends ago we finally sealed the back cap on the exterior, so once we were done with that we were able to finally finish what we started and putting the insulation in the back here. We had a ton of scrap, as you can probably see on the floor. Tried to empty half of that bag. Just a ton of scrap of the foam board insulation. So what we did, we just cut up what we had, put it in the back. If it didn't fit nice and neat, we just used some spray foam and pretty much made this whole back area one giant block of foam. So that's pretty sturdy in there now. The nice thing about having this is it's right above the engine, so it will be muffling a lot of the sound coming from that. And this is our feature bed area, so it also helps keep things warm back here. Now all that's left is we cut out these squares that can fit in between these posts here. We're just going to spray some foam insulation in the cracks so that everything's nice and tight still. And once these are up, we'll be putting our piece of plywood on top of that, and that's just going to cover this entire section right here. And so that'll be really nice. We're getting some more things off the floor. The next step after that phase is putting a piece of wood up top here, because we're going to keep this open as a shelf so that we still have access to the marker lights, and we can maybe store a little projector or something back here. So now that that's explained, let's go to the front. Alright, so as for the front of the bus, Bjorn put in some metal over here on the side. That was took a little while to measure out. What we decided to do is fiberglass the front because it's a lot easier to form everything. There's a lot of jagged edges, and it turned out that fiberglassing was a really great solution. Everything's really solid, so that was nice. The different types of fiberglass that we used were the cloth and the matte. So we used the matte for the main portion of the fiberglassing. It's a much sturdier bond just because of the crisscrossed pieces of fiberglass. And then for the edges, since those were a little bit harder to form, we actually just used fiberglass cloth. It's a lot less messy and easy to work with and form a shape. So we just did that because it was easier to seal the gap, the larger gap on the corners. So now that that's up there, we can keep adding more of the fiberglass mat and build that up for the main portion of the fiberglassing. We put a couple pieces of fiberglass up, slapped some resin on it. We used the 3M Bondo resin, and we just kind of moved along the length of the piece of metal for that. And once the resin had time to get tacky, we went back and did the second, third, and fourth layer. So that's why this is nice and sturdy, and we will be doing the same thing on the outside. So stay tuned for that update. Lastly, before I mention that, we also found a really good deal, stopped messing around and getting those small packs of fiberglass at Home Depot, and found these huge packs on Amazon, and it saved us a bunch. So that was awesome. And lastly, we're still in the designing stages of what we want to do with this front piece. And initially we were thinking that we would put up a window up here that would slide open, just to kind of give us a nice breeze, a little bit more light. But since we do have so many windows in this bus, and we did just install the fantastic fans, now we're kind of considering whether we want to do overhead shelving right here, since that we're not planning on doing that anywhere down the length of the bus to keep everything open. So we do have a little bit more welding to do up front, but we want to hear what your opinion is on what you think would look good here. We'd love to hear some of your guys' ideas. So leave a comment below for that, and stay tuned on some more updates. finished what we set out to do. We finally got the rest of the luan covered to the back, so that's been open for a couple of weeks, and that's nice to get that up. We had to do 3 more pieces of luan and cut out the square hole for where the escape hatch is. We also finished, as you can see, putting this guy up. I think this back piece has been open since, I don't know, for maybe a little over a year, so now it has the final finish on it, and that's pretty exciting. So all in all, we're really excited with where we ended today, and next time we'll be working on a couple of things before we move on to the next bigger stages of our project. So that's going to include finishing the fiberglassing on the front cap, working on the outside, building it up so that it's a smooth, even surface. We also have about 1 more sheet of luan to go up towards the front, and we're going to leave a little bit of the edge open so we can design the front when we're ready. We also have this back corner. It's just got a little bit of insulation exposed. So now that we've been getting everything off the floor, we can finally get to some of those smaller items. Coming after that, we're going to be building up our bed frame, our fireplace over in the corner, and then we can start thinking about sanding and painting the walls. So we've got a lot of exciting stages coming up. So hopefully stay tuned, subscribe, and see what comes next.